Grizzly Sports Report. On today's show, we talk with senior wide receiver Bryce Carver, mic up Coach Delaney, and take a closer look at the hairstyles on the Grizz football team. But first, we take a look back at the Grizz win over Weber State.
Is up and good. Basically an extra point for Chris Leiter. Montana is striking first here in Hug. Inside 10 minutes left to play here in the first half. Puckett takes it. Touchdown. Weber State. And off Canada. And Canada. Touchdown. Montana. And into the end zone. Parham. Touchdown. Weber State. The first half. This from about 22 yards out. And it's good. Weber in high formation. Pressure coming. Is that a fumble or was the arm in motion? It looks like they're ruling it a fumble. Montana has the football. The pressure we talked about coming from Zach Wagenman. Goal from the 10. To the end zone. Touchdown, Montana, Bryce Carver. Trying to make it a 7-point lead. With hand. Right with time and has Sam Bratt for the 2 points. Very well run play. Also has 2 misses. Riders kick is up and it's good, and Montana takes the 2-possession lead. Cordero Dixon on the reach. Oh, what a run. And Dixon with a man to beat. It's Leiter still on his feet. Cordero Dixon looking to outrun the Montana defense and does. Touchdown. Weber State.
In their 3-point win, the Grizz defense held strong and allowing less than 240 yards of total offense and recovering 3 fumbles. Stay with us. We'll be right back with Bryce Carver after the break. Welcome back to the Grizzly Sports Report. I'm joined by senior wide receiver Bryce Carver. Now, Bryce, tell me a little bit about yesterday's game. Started off fairly slow, took a 7-point lead, then a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter. They came back, answered with a 100-yard return. So what's going on in your guys' head with such little time left on the clock and they're within 3 points?
Yeah, well, I think we got the ball back with about 3:46, I think, and it's something we practice every day. You know, in practice is working on finishing the drill and being able to kill the whole clock, you know, from 6 minutes down. And so that was really good that we were able to get a couple first downs, even though they had 1 or 2 timeouts, I think, and it was really nice that we could, you know, just sustain that drive enough to where we could just run out the clock, didn't have to punt, didn't have to make our defense go back on the field, and so that was really big that our offense could, you know, pick up the end of a deal. And you know, we preached all week in the last couple weeks about finishing the drill, finishing the game, and I think we really did that yesterday.
And as a receiving group, you guys have started to get a little more action in passes that aren't just those short bubble screens. And so how nice is it for you guys to, towards the end of the season, start getting targeted for some of those longer passes and get to do some of the more fun things other than blocking as a receiver?
It's going good. We really started to work on our deep passing game. Coach Rosie's opened up the playbook. Shay's getting really comfortable now there, and you know, Trent's comfortable in practice so if he has to go in there, and so being able to you know, attack the field vertically more than horizontally, that'll really help open up the run game too, because when they have to worry about, you know, being deep now, it really brings a whole new facet to our game. And so that's really got to be an important you know, thing in our offense, and it's coming along well.
And then yesterday, Weber State secondary, very physical. You got popped a couple times, really good. So just how physical was that Weber State secondary compared to some of the other teams you've played?
They were physical. They played hard, and you know, they were bigger guys, more bigger than we usually face, and so they were physical, and it's fun to play against those type of guys. You know, you get a battle with them, play after play, blocking, then you get to run a route, and so you know that was good. Sam got popped a couple times and was able to hang on to a ball, big 3rd down conversion, and you know, that stuff's big. That shows courage, and it's good. You know, it gives life to other kids on the team, you know, when kids are making plays like that.
And not only do you guys get a time to rest up and heal a little bit, but hopefully you guys get a chance to have some fun and do something away from football. So do you have any big plans for the bye week aside from watching film?
Yeah, actually, last year I took Cam, Warren, Mitch, Saylor, and Sam, you know, the wideouts, we went to Dillon, my hometown, and we actually went hunting and and took out a bunch of guns, got to shoot guns. And for Cam and Mitch and those guys who Cam never shot a gun before, that's kind of fun. So I think we're planning on getting to go do that. And then Saturday my little brother plays, so I'll get a chance to watch him in one of his last games as a senior. So that's exciting for me.
Awesome, very nice. And then with the Cats, I know 2 years ago you lost to them. Yep. Last year you beat them on the road in a pretty dramatic game. And so how different are the highs and lows of that Cat-Grizz game, or Grizz-Cat game rather?
Yeah, it's unspeakable how you can go from losing at home, which is, you just feel bad for those seniors. You just never wanted the season to end that way. And then we go last year to, they were the #1 ranked team and ended up, beating them pretty good over there, rushing the ball. And it just goes to show that no matter where the teams are throughout the season, when that game comes, everyone's going to, be prepared, and it doesn't matter what has happened earlier in the season. That game's going to be a legit game. And so I think that really shows how big this rivalry is. And, we really don't want to end our season with a loss to them, and we want to go out on top, continue some momentum for next year's kids. And for me as a senior, that'd be a great way to end this thing.
Perfect. And then last question for you, the long hair that you have, you aren't the only one on the team, so just real quick recap for me how and why the long hair has become fairly popular on this Grizz football team.
Well, when I came in as a freshman, I got my head shaved, as we always did, and Sam had his long hair, and so I just started growing it out, and we started talking about wideouts having long hair, so I just kept mine going, and he's always had his. And then Wagaman's starting to get his going, and it's just kind of thing that's growing. I talked earlier in the week about how when you get a real job, you can't have long hair like this, so we're kind of enjoying it while we have it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, Bryce. We appreciate it. And Bryce isn't the only one with long hair. We took a closer look at the Grizz team as a whole and the fashion trend that is long hair.
We've got everything that you can imagine here. We've got a few fros, and we've got cornrows, and we've got ponytails. You name it, we've got it.
It was Sam Grattan who helped create the culture of long hair.
Well, Sam Grattan's the godfather. He's had the hair for the longest time, so I'm gonna have to give it up for Sam.
Yeah, as of this Grizz generation, I'm definitely the godfather of the hair.
Once you get a real job, you can't have long hair, so we might as well enjoy it while we got it.
Some players believe the long hair brings an intimidation factor onto the field, while others just like how it looks.
You see a guy with long hair, it's like, wow, you look twice at that guy and you think about, what is he capable of?
When you're running routes and stuff for us, we get a flow going behind you, just, good looks in the paper and on the news and stuff. It's just fun to have.
It used to be something different. I kind of get annoyed now that everyone has that. I kind of want to do like a sweet mohawk or something, see if that catches on.
As for who has the best hair on the team?
God, I think Wagaman's got the best hair. He does. He's surpassed us all.
I'm sad to say it's definitely Zach Wagaman, hands down.
A mane. That's a good way of describing it. It's thick. It's brown, but it's got a little blonde in it too. So I don't know, man.
And we can't forget about the worst.
But I feel like Walden has the worst hair. We always make fun of Walden now with his dreads. They take shots at me all the time. They just call me a dirt ball, really. That's all.
Man, one day I said, he looks like a billy goat, with those things sticking up in the air, up on the side of the mountain.
He's got almost the Medusa look, looking like the snakes coming out of his head. I'm just worried for his health right now, just because he's doing the dread thing and he doesn't wash it, so it might be a health hazard eventually.
Well, I've only found 1 or 2 bugs from it. No, I'm just kidding. I wash it 2-3 times a week, so it's really clean.
Walden says long hair on the football field is just how it should be.
It's an aggressive sport. In reality, we're animals, and it's just kind of, Braveheart had the long hair, and it's just kind of our character, I guess.
Welcome back to the Grizzly Sports Report. I'm now joined by head coach Mick Delaney. And Coach, we talked last week about how you guys had struggled in Weber State in some of the past years going there, and again, we started off fairly slow. So what, if anything, happened to make you guys start off that game a little bit slower and the offense was really never able to get into a rhythm?
Well, I think we pressed a little bit on offense the first half. The thing that Shea does so well usually is just keep his composure and play within himself. And I think maybe he was a little bit hyped up yesterday, maybe a little more than the last 2 weeks. And he had some throws that weren't real accurate, but he was still making the right read. So, it was just hopefully a matter of time time before, he got himself back into rhythm again. And, they play pretty darn well defensively too. They've got some players. We run the ball well even in the first half, but we just kind of misfired a couple times and let some opportunities get by. It was one of those games I think I felt for the most part we had control of. Even when we were behind 7-3, I knew we were moving the ball well enough on offense, and our defense was playing lights out. They had a great day yesterday, holding them to 230-some yards of total offense. So, we just struggled. Chris struggled a little bit, missed 2 field goals there in the first half. And so, it was just a matter, we weren't all in sync with offense, defense, and special teams. And it seemed like, a week ago we talked about that, and we were so strong in all 3 areas. And, yesterday one of the strong points probably early of the game was our kickoff coverage. I mean, we were doing a great job, and then all of a sudden, wham, and there they go 100 yards. And, that's tough.
Certainly, and then you mentioned Chris Leiter and some of his struggles early on. He did come back in that fourth quarter and give you guys the field goal that was eventually the 3 points that won you the game. So how important is his play and consistency going to be in that final week of play against the Cats?
Well, it's going to be tremendously important. I think in a game like that, special teams is going to play a huge part, one way, shape, or form. And I thought it would yesterday, and it did. I told the kids, and Coach Kafensi told them, I think we can get a punt block just by the nature of what they do. And, it wasn't a block where we knocked it backwards, but we got a hand on 2 of them. And one, we got the ball on their side of the 50, and the other just barely the other side of the 50. So those were 2 huge plays on special teams. And, that's going to be really important in that game. And Chris is going to be important. I get a little frustrated, and he does too, but really that's the first 2 field goals that he's missed. He had 2 blocked, but that's the first 2 he's missed all season. And it just one of those things. Sometimes he wasn't hitting the ball real solid. I think he was pressing a little the first half, and come back in the second half and relaxed and knocked those 2 in for us. It ended up being huge.
And you mentioned the defense earlier, a tremendous game all around from them. One player in particular, Zach Wagnerman, had a huge game and really helped put you guys in position to win throughout.
Well, Zach is just so tremendously quick off the ball, and he's got great instincts. He's developed with Coach Legge, 4 or 5 really good pass rush moves, and he's had a banner season, just an outstanding season. He's right near the top of the country in sacks and tackles, for a defensive end. Zach is a real quick twitch guy. I mean, he's off and going and using his hands and feet and his eyes, and he's just had a tremendous season.
And then I do have to ask, we've done mic'd up versions of all the other assistant coaches, and now it falls on to you. And so in your first season as a head coach, how do you think your players would describe your coaching style at practice?
Oh, probably a grouchy old man would be the best description, I think.
Then how would you describe it then?
Probably close to the same. I enjoy it so much that, my deal is I think they've got to work hard. They stay focused, but you still have to have fun because, it's a long season and a long grind anymore. It's a 11.5-month deal. And so, I try really hard for myself and all the coaches to make it fun, in addition, to working as hard as we can work. And that they've been really good about that.
Fantastic. Well, they say you saved the best for last, and we certainly did. Here's Coach Delaney mic'd up.
Get that B up to a B+ yet?
Oh, no, it's a B+.
Okay, not quite an A yet. Okay, I'll ask you again next week, right? School going okay?
Yep.
Not messing around, are you?
No.
Getting her done? Okay. Adam, you got any B's?
All right, bring it up. Go.
All A's going? Attaboy. Caleb, they just asked me on the TV who had the worst hair, and I told them it wasn't you. I said, I can't figure this one out. Herbert, you did some good things yesterday on tape. I watched you really close.
Thanks,
I
Coach.
like the way you're backpedaling, transitioning, and
Thanks,
you're
Coach.
going to be a good football player for us. I know now why I hated you all spring. Yesterday when you were rolling the ball back on the ground.
Oh, no,
Huh?
Yeah.
They brought flashbacks to me. I thought, oh, God, no, please. Is this your music? That's bad now. I don't like that. That's bad. Is that your music, Wags?
Oh, this?
Yeah.
You're not a big fan, huh?
I don't like that one. Is that your music, those last 2?
Yep.
Oh, goodness sakes. How you doing, Tyrone? Have you got any sacks left in you, or did you use them all? You move better than Shay does. You look like an athlete sometimes. Now that tackle you went to make the other day, I'm not sure. Quit standing straight up in the air, be an athlete. Push his knees down to touch the ground. God, that's ugly. That is an ugly picture right there. Lots of work today, Grizz, lots of work. Everybody's got to work today. There's 1 minute and 2 seconds, 1 timeout. The score is 21-22, and we need a field goal to win. Here we go now, compete. Got to compete, let's go. Let's go, compete, talk, talk. I want to hear those routes, DBs, backers, I want to hear the route. That's a nice job, Josh. Hey, that's a nice job. That's the way to go up and find the ball. That's the way to find the ball. Good job, tight ends. Pads down now. They're going to maul you. They're going to maul you. Pads down. There you go, Greg. Good. This is where you get better, guys. Every drill, you got an opportunity to get better.
Welcome back. I'm still joined by head coach Mick Delaney. And Coach, we mentioned him a little bit earlier in his success in the second half and his ability to stay calm and not rush anything. But the play of Shea Smith-Wacan over the last couple of weeks, it really seems like he's settled into that starter position going into the final game against the Cats. How do you feel he has done stepping in midway through the season?
Well, he's done, you know, everything that you would expect a guy to do and more. Even yesterday when he was struggling early, he knew coming off, and Coach Rosie does a great job of communicating with him. You know, when I stay out of the way, it's good. But, you know, Shea knows. He comes off and says, God, Coach, I didn't see this, I didn't see that, or I saw this. And it, you know, guys will tell you that, but they're not always accurate. But when Shea tells you, you know, what he saw, then that's what happened. And, you know, at halftime, we just told him, hey, you know, your strength, Shea, is just play within yourself and do what your eyes tell you and have good technique. And he did that the second half.
He sure did. And then we do have a bye week. I know I asked Bryce about this, and he said he's going hunting. So is there any bye week activity that you're looking forward to and maybe getting away from the football field a little bit?
Well, we won't really get away, but I'm really excited about next Friday. My grandson's a senior at Bozeman High, and they play Glacier next in the semifinals. So I'll get to see that on Friday and then take in another game somewhere on Saturday. Maybe Beaverhead, I guess, is at Polson, and Loyola's here in town. So the coaches that are here will get out to some games on Friday and Saturday, and then the rest of the coaches are on the road this week. There's just 4 of us here, Ty and Tim and myself and Ross, and then the other 7 guys are on the road doing some recruiting this week.
Sure, and I know it's a very big question. You haven't had a whole lot of time to look at the film, but the big overarching question I have to ask going into this bye week, we have a lot of time to prepare for them, but how do you beat the Montana State Bobcats?
Well, I think, you know, it's the old coach's cliches. Obviously, we've got to stop the run on defense and keep McGahee contained, you know, and again, out of his element, hopefully make him uncomfortable like we were able to do yesterday. And you know, they have such a strong running game. Cody Kirk had a big game yesterday, and he's a fine player.
And talk about that run game. Do we know the possibility of Dan Moore potentially being able to play in that final game his senior year?
You know, he says he's going to, and he's working so hard at it, and, you know, that would be a great spark. And, you know, we'll just have to see how this week goes. I think he made some progress last week, but, man, it's slow, you know, a lot slower than he would like or we would like.
Sure. All right. Well, thank you as always, Coach. We appreciate it. Enjoy the bye week.
Going to do that.
Fantastic. Well, we'll be back 2 weeks from now. But until then, stay right here. Sean Rainey's back with a Fall Sports Wrap after this.
The basketball team starting their season with exhibition matchups against Carroll and Lewis and Clark State. The men were led by their 2 returning starters, Matthias Ward and Kareem Jamar, who combined for 46 of the team's 86 points. Sophomore Karan Shields chipped in 10, playing in Will Cherry's spot as the Grizz beat the Warriors by 18. The Lady Grizz taking on Carroll College. Montana shot an impressive 49% from the field. It was a balanced attack as the Lady Grizz scored 72 points, but no one in double figures. Now to soccer. After beating Portland State, the Grizz took on Idaho State in the conference championship game. It went to a shootout, and it was tied after 4 kicks. The Bengals made their 5th, and Montana needing to answer to keep their hopes alive, but it's blocked, and the Grizz fall just short. But congratulations to them on a great season. I'm Sean Rainey, and that's your Fall Sports Wrap.
Thank you, Sean. With the soccer squad done for the year, volleyball is almost in the same boat, but they do have 2 more home games, Friday and Saturday. The Lady Grizz are in Philadelphia for their first non-exhibition game at Temple on Friday, and the men's team doing the same in Fort Collins against Colorado State. The football team with a bye week before they head into the Brawl of the Wild, and we are almost done with this week's show, but before we go, here's Bryce Carver answering questions in our 2-minute drill. Your favorite season of the year and why, whether it's winter, summer, spring, fall?
Got to be fall, because hunting, football, you know, I love the fall.
And you kind of touched on it, but your favorite outdoor activity, and maybe hunting, but tell me why.
You know, I just have always been hunting with my family, and that and fishing. Every summer I fly fish almost every day I can, and so those 2 things are really, really important in my life.
The last movie you saw in a theater?
I don't know. It's been I can't even remember. Honestly, I haven't been to a movie in so long.
How about a last concert you've been to?
Oh, I actually went to Kenny Chesney and Tim McGraw in Oakland this summer.
Awesome. And then they just had their show here. What is your favorite Sesame Street character?
Elmo. Gotta go with Elmo.
And then the best part of growing up in Dillon, Montana?
Just being small town. I mean, I'm not a really big city type of guy. I love, you know, knowing everyone and just being able to be so close to the outdoors.
All right. And who's your celebrity crush and why?
Celebrity crush. Probably Kim Kardashian. My girlfriend watches that show, so I have to watch it all the time.
Nice. And then lastly, the most embarrassing song you have on your iPod?
I have some Katy Perry stuff on there that's probably not pretty good for people to hear.